Hi, everyone. This is Eli Navas, and
And I'm James, and I'm with Networks Audio Video.
I'm Eli Navas from Hope for Today TV, and we have today Tech Talk. We're going to be speaking about a lot of technology inside the church again, and we hope that after this conversation that we will have with James, you will have a better perspective regarding what you can do and you might not be able to do with technology inside the church. So how are you today, James?
Very well today. I'm excellent, and I'm excited. You actually have some good questions for me. I was able to look at them, and I'm excited to get at it.
Perfect. So remember, we're going to leave the link in the description to follow James on his channel, Audio Networks Video and Audio and Video Inc. What is wrong with me today? I need another cup of coffee. This is going to be my third one. Oh, there you go. It's going to be my third one if I get another one. But still. So, shall we continue with the questions, James, right away?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Question number one. What do you think is the most important feature of a microphone of a worship leader?
Well, that's a very good question because a worship leader is also a musician at heart and a singer. And really, the most important thing is the sound quality. Because when you have that sound quality that helps you sound like the way you want it to, you feel confident to be able to sing. So to me, I'd say the most important feature of a microphone is the overall sound quality of the mic.
Okay.
And I think that, you know, you've led worship as well many times and still do. And I think that you also have something to say about that.
You know what? I'm laughing because it's true. I was leading worship in a church that I was invited last weekend because this church does the live streaming. And we were talking with James behind cameras. I think that it was last week or during this week that I'm planning to get my own microphone because the microphone, you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about. My microphone sounds way better. And this is just about preferences. Some people like Nissan, some people like Toyota, some people like Shure. I am not one of those. And some people like Senheiser. I'm a Senheiser user. It's like Windows and Mac. It's just like different uses and everything. But yes, I can hear the quality in between. Maybe not models in Sennheiser because personally they are really good, all of them. The oldest, the better. But the new technology that Sennheiser has is really good. And by the way, we're not sponsored by Senheiser, but James and Networks Audio and Video, they are one of the distributors here in Ontario, Canada. But I love the quality of Senheiser. I can hear the quality and the sound between brands, and that's what I love about Senheiser. So this Sunday, I will be taking my microphone with me because I feel more comfortable, and you're laughing at me, I know.
Yeah, and actually, I think a call to action to anyone who is in the position of leading worship or participating in worship in the band and singing, try different microphones, get to know the ones that work best for you because, you want to know what sounds good for me or what helps enhance my voice as opposed to, how maybe holding back my voice and holding back some of the clarity of it and so on.
And you're totally right, because I'm sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
But you're totally right on that because having a microphone is regarding the tone of your voice, male and female. Even though we have different resolutions of voices, we have different ranges. And in my key range, that I'm not a baritone, but I'm considered a tenor in the medium range, and we're talking about vocal range musically. My vocal range is better captured on a Sennheiser, but maybe, as you said, my tone of voice seems to be like a little bit medium low, but it's actually really high. But still, that's part of the things that you're mentioning that are really important. You have to know your voice to feel comfortable, and definitely I feel more comfortable with this microphone.
Also ask others, which one is easier to hear and understand you with, because a microphone may sound good to you when you're alone, listening to it. But when you have musicians playing around you and other singers singing, you don't want to have a microphone that suddenly you just drop out of the mix, or if you have to be turned up to be louder to be heard, that it doesn't sound overbearing either. So you want to make sure that you have something that works well and just fits right into the pocket of the mix. And so ask people what it sounds. Ask the AV operators, what does it sound like? Does it work better with this one or that one? Get a better understanding of it and focus on the tonal characteristics. When you're using that microphone, when you use the mic, if you use a mic close or you use a mic far, how does it change? Do you have something that causes changes in tonality? And then end up at that point making a selection for something that's both good for speech and for leading worship, both, because oftentimes people use the speech microphone to sing, or they use a singing microphone for speech. I mean, you could use a singing microphone for speech, but it's sometimes a speech microphone for singing just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't have necessarily the range that you need and the openness that you need.
I was visiting a church last week, and this is going to be really quick. And we were talking with the pastor regarding how do they handle the worship team. And the following question, before I say the question, I will finish my idea, is regarding the sound people, the audio and video people. And believe it or not, some people in their churches, some churches, they don't consider the audio and video people part of the worship team. In my case, for me, the most powerful people is the audio people, because with one finger they can ruin our whole life or the speaker's life. And you're totally right on that specific topic, like the speech and the leading worship. It's a complete different EQ, and that takes me to the next question. What do you think is the most important feature from the perspective of the sound operator? And how might that differ?
Well, frankly, you would expect that the sound operator would have a different view than what a worship leader or a singer would have. And in essence, it is true. There is a different view, a different way to look at it. But the fact of the matter is, it's the sound quality. It's the same thing. And the sound quality is the most important thing, even from the perspective of the operator, because if the microphone sounds good, you have less equalization that needs to be done, less adjustments that need to be done.
Totally right.
You don't have, feedback that comes from the microphone because the microphone isn't balanced. So the more that you have a better quality microphone or better quality sound, the better it is for you. And also, if you have something that, as I was mentioning, something that just kind of cuts through and fits into that pocket, it just works so much better, and it's so much easier to do a mix with it. So, I'm sure you can speak on that as well.
Yeah, the thing is, I used to make the mistake of trying to guide the sound operator from behind the speakers. And that's the mistake number one that we make as worship leaders or worship pastors. If you're leading, don't get into their job. They're gonna get mad of you, and you're gonna be really upset with the things that they can do. So try to have a good relationship. That's another topic for worship talk maybe. But don't try to tell them what to do. And that's a policy for me. When the sound people is over there, I said, listen, that's your world. The stage is my world in the monitors. And you mentioned something really important. It's a different EQ that you will have in the PA locally in the sanctuary, and different if you have your floor monitors. In my case, usually the churches are upgrading to in-ear monitors. And you know what, James, this is one might be a good topic for the next week. Headphones or monitor, in-ear monitors. Think about it, and I think that will be a good topic for next week, because we need to find which ones are the best in-ear monitors. And by the way, James has a video that he posted with Andy, one of his main guys, regarding headphones. James is wearing headphones. I do not. I don't feel comfortable speaking and having a bigger head what I already have, but still, that's another topic for another, maybe Dr. Phil's talk or emotional talk. But what I'm trying to say is, it's a different EQ in a different vibe, if we can call it, from your monitors, and that's your world. What I usually do is, like, I leave the sound, the PA in the auditorium for the sound people, and I usually carry my tablet or my iPad connected to the mixer, and I help all the musicians and singers with the mixing and EQ of their monitors. So you're totally right on that. You won't sound the same from a microphone, even from the PA and from the monitors.
And just kind of carrying on from that, from the perspective of the AV operator, try to equalize minimally at first on the microphone, to hear actually what the mic sounds like. So as somebody's using the mic, just do the minimum on it, just the minimum to start off, and just see, how much change is noticeable as, proximity effect takes place as the person brings the microphone closer or farther away. What kind of changes are there? So in other words, to know how much do you compensate for that? And then afterwards, just dial in your final adjustments later. But as an operator, you want to do minimal adjustments at the beginning so that you can better understand what that is. And once you start to know a microphone, and that's kind of the thing about people who do mixing in general, once you start to know a microphone, you start to know how to adjust it, how to tweak if you hear something that's just a little bit, off, and you need to bring it back in line again. And always one of the most important things is being able to set it up so that the voice just cuts through and everybody just fits in the pocket,
Yeah, and I totally agree on that. One of the mistakes that we make is that we're trying to add frequencies on the EQ, but it's supposed to be the opposite, right? It's supposed to compensate with frequencies, not trying to, your voice sounds like this, and then let me give you more highs and more frequencies in that regards.
So the thing is that the frequency range is vast, and oftentimes what we remember is based on our home stereo systems, bass and treble. And so oftentimes we try and fix something with bass and treble. And really that's not where we want to go, because the vocal range is in the middle. And just a mid control is not enough either. So what we do is we do offer classes, training classes to be able to come in classroom based, and we teach people on equalization. I know that there's other resources out there on the internet as well too.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that sound operators learn over time. If they don't learn through a class, they learn over time certain things about equalization and making adjustments. Oftentimes you want to do as little as possible.
Yes.
But there are certain corrective things you need to do, and once you make those corrections, oftentimes the microphone just kind of just starts to fit into the pocket and just has its own space within the overall sound.
Yeah. So my advice will be, based on what James says, flat all the EQ. And based on that, check the quality of your microphones. And again, invest. Don't spend. Invest in really good quality microphones.
You do want to have some equalization done.
Okay.
So for the most part, the majority of your equalization, you may have several filters. The majority of them are going to be flat, but you will have maybe 2 or 3 shaping equalizations done. One shaping is going to be based on proximity effect and how much it affects you. A second one might be on, does it still sound muddy? Or does it sound like I'm too distant?
Yes.
So that's the second one. The third one is, how clear is it, or does it cut through too much? And so that's the third adjustment. So those are the 3 adjustments that typically get made. And if people want to know more about that at some point, maybe we'll do another video either within Tech Talk or within the Networks Audio Video YouTube channel, where we could maybe put something about how to do just that, equalize a microphone using, 2 or 3 filters.
Great. That sounds amazing. So that takes me to the Third and final question. What is your favorite microphone for leading worship, and why do you think that this is a good choice, James? Before you answer, let me tell something to all the audience. You don't know, but James is an amazing singer. He might not look like a singer, but he's a singer, a songwriter, and a musician. Because I don't look like a singer too, but still I'm a singer. But still, James is a really good singer, so he has a specific preference regarding microphones. So before you answer the question, that's what I have to say to the audience. He's not just a businessman and all the stuff. He has multiple faces, and one of his faces is he's an amazing singer. You know what? That can be one of our talks one of these days about songwriting. That can be worship talk.
Okay, well, we'll see about that.
About what? About what?
About songwriting. But yeah, we're definitely going to launch worship talk as well too. That's going to be a new series of videos that we'll be doing within the Network's audio video channel. And actually, that'll be my turn to ask you questions.
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, the question is, what is your favorite microphone for leading worship, and why do you think that it's a good choice for you or for everybody else?
Well, I actually really like the Sennheiser series of microphones, the Evolution 900 series. I actually like those a lot. Right now, I'm speaking to you in an 800 series Sennheiser, and so are you, Eli.
I think that I have the 900.
Actually, you might have a 935.
Yeah, 935.
Yeah, and so I'm speaking in an 835. The sound quality on both of these is still very good. I find that the 935 just has a little bit deeper bass, and it just has a little bit nicer high frequency, and it just helps to refine the sound. And in terms of proximity effect, it's not as prominent as you would find on some of the other common microphones that you find within worship spaces. So it's a lot easier to have the microphone cut through the mix. So from a quality point of view, if you want to say, well, if I look at a particular video, somebody singing, or I look at a particular venue where people are singing, a lot of churches have been using a varied number of microphones. But I also like to think of, what about some of the main venues that you see, where maybe you're watching it on television, maybe there's some awards or some kind of music talent sort of place, I'm not saying that all of these do, but a lot of them use Sennheiser microphones, and they use them for a reason. Because of the sound quality being so good on them, and just always being there, just a very good, crisp, clear sound, and they work well for me.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of singers and musicians in the Latin American world, but also in America and in Canada, that they're using Sennheiser. Is a really good one. But the main place that I can see all the time using Sennheiser microphones is on the news, because of the quality, and they are built up really strong. I'm telling you, because I've been using Sennheiser since maybe 20 years when I got to know them. I don't know how old is the company, but they are really good. So it's a preference for a lot of people, and they are high quality.
Just so that you know,
yes,
the microphones themselves, like the Evolution series, they are in a lower cost bracket, but they're still made in Germany.
Wow, that's amazing. So James is using an 835 Evolution Sennheiser, and I'm using the 935. Why don't you leave us in the comments, who do you think that it sounds better? And you're pulling another microphone.
Yes, this one actually is a 935 as well. So I have one here. So I can actually, speak in one or the other. But yes, so this is my 935 that I have, and I'll go back to the 835.
Okay, so leave us in the comments all your suggestions and everything. And I think that this is all for today. If you have more questions or suggestions about things that you want to know about audio and video, please tune in, leave your comments
below. Yep.
In the comments, leave your questions, like the video, share the video for someone who will use this microphone. And remember again, I'm Eli Navas, and
I'm James.
And this was Tech Talk, sponsored by Networks and Hope for Today TV. Hasta la próxima. See you later, guys.